Hey guys, Quantum here, and on one of the accounts where I did not play Stage 1, it automatically moves you into Stage 2 Group B. I played just to get the points with traditional Crest Haven, so not like the previous video, which is a different account where we have the Rodeo variation available to us. This variation, I would say, just doesn't feel good anymore. I don't know if people have adapted or if I'm just playing it terribly now or whatever. But you're going to see some of these matches, and they are very stressful. But we were able to qualify nonetheless. I definitely should not have qualified. I definitely should have lost probably 4 out of these 5 matches. But we're going to take a look. Here you can see on the replay what we faced. Let's go ahead and jump in. You saw the deck list as well with the QR code. Yeah, let's get into it there, I guess. Alright, this run was a nightmare. I probably said that in the opening clip, but let's go ahead and review these matches. Yeah, the opening slog against Triple Havencraft wasn't very fun. I'm going to speed through a lot of these because, yeah, I just wanted you to see how ridiculous it is. So, very bad opening hand. Mulligan into something that's actually pretty good. We've got the Sanctuary for card draw. We've got Congregant for card advantage, getting those 4 health characters to hand. The opponent on or going second, right, with the play point also has Sanctuary. We get the Grimnir on 3. Everything is looking fantastic. Blinding Faith isn't very good in this matchup, but you know, you can use it to ping off a board to clear it up so that your crest can hit. Like, it's not the worst. Okay, down comes a Salifa, and you know, we're gonna clean that up with Congregant. Now we just need the engine. We just need Marwyn, right? The opponent here also kind of starts off a little slow. We're going to go ahead and develop Crest because I'm like, yeah, I mean, you know, I should be getting my Marwyn at any moment now. Draw, right, Congregant, you know, make sure you have enough hand space to do both, so you're just constantly getting through your deck. You know, we're on turn 7 and I still don't have the Marwyn up. You know, to be fair, the opponent, well, they do have a couple of crests, but undoubtedly they've got more crests coming, and sure enough, they do. Our hand size is 9, so we're going to brick our draw. It is a Blinding Faith, which we're totally fine with bricking there. And we have to kind of inefficiently use our cards here in order to clean up the opponent's board, because they will be swinging into us. At this point, though, I'm like, I don't think I can come back and win, simply because I just still don't have the Marwyn crest, and I'm just way too far behind now on 6 HP. Yeah, even with all of this, there's nothing I can do. Get it on the final turn, where I know I'm going to lose on this next turn here by the opponent, and yeah, the game really does that sometimes. So similar to if you watch my previous video where I did not show my loss against Runecraft in my 4-1 run to Group A, if you don't see Marwyn soon enough, the game is lost as the Havencraft Crest player. Alright, so a very rocky start for that first one. Let's see how the second one goes. Seeing that I get paired up against Havencraft again, a GM player, Grandmaster. We're going second at least this time, which means if we do see Marwyn, we're going to be able to Evo it first. It is in the opening hand, and I'm like, thank goodness. And we have the Grimnir, so I'm like, perfect. That's really all I want. Now I just need to find some other crests, right? Now I have the opposite problem of what I did before, where I had all the crests, I just didn't have the Marwyn. So the opponent here, 1 and 2, you know, pretty good curve outs. Grimnir on 3. Do they have the Marwyn on 4? And I mean, they wouldn't play because they can't Evo it. So yeah, the turn 4 going first is a little awkward. They go first at second Grimnir here. And, you know, with the Grimnir up, I'm going to go ahead and drop the Marwyn here. Still no other crests, right? No Devotee, no Supplicant, no Congregant, no Wilbert. The opponent gets the perfect curve out too, right? 1, 2, and 3 crests, right? Just the only downside is they went first. They had to wait till turn 5. The scary thing is they probably have Congregant, so I don't end up putting a character on board. Not that I really would put any, since I have Salifa. They go for a Wilbert here, and I'm like, that's good, because with the one Marwyn I did see, I'm going to be able to torrent that away. They do have 3 permanent crests, though, and that is scary. They have a bunch of cards in hand, and I only have 4. So yeah, I'm really hurting. This Sanctuary is got to be my saving grace. I'm kind of forced to Evo the Salifa here and leave the Marwyn up, which feels terrible. Down comes a Jean, and the opponent is likely going to poke me for 6 because that's more damage than 4, and they don't really care about healing. We're forced to use a Unholy Vessel there to clear the board and use Temple to just stave off some pressure. We finally start seeing some crests, but very late into the game, and I wouldn't say necessarily we're like too far behind, but we are kind of far behind. I opt to Blinding Faith to draw. That's crazy, and gain a little bit of health, but I leave the my board open to take 5 damage, plus I take, well, I don't take 5 if they attack with Congregant, but yeah, they attack with Congregant, I take a bunch of damage, and down comes my Supplicant, and I still don't have 5 crests. The scary thing is if I get the opponent low enough, right, they will probably have Benison. So it's a really bad uphill battle here. I'm going to be forced to use one of my Super Evos in order to Gilneas heal. And I don't think my opponent was on Gilneas, but it can really be a game breaker for you. So here you can see I have 1 Sweetness of Veracity. I have slowed the game pace down a little bit because this is a critical point in the game. They go for Casitas. I have Casitas in my hand as well. The good thing about this is it takes up their whole turn. They do clear my board. I am up to 15 without using the Benison yet. And I'm just going to go for my own Casitas. And yes, I am behind because next turn they can draw 3 out of the Apocalypse deck with their Sanctuary, right? It's going to trigger down to 1. They can proc another one for the Engage and then draw 3 cards, getting something that's really strong. Like in this case, the Silent Rider. It gets me down to 5, Torrent of Despair away my Casitas that was super evoed, and then put a Servant on board to soak up all that crest damage. It's not all that much though. I only have 3 crests. So I'm going to be forced to Vessel again here. The opponent may not have been on Vessel, but I'm forced to take the Benison Crest. So with the Devotee and the Benison Crest, we deal 5, but I'm on a 2-turn clock now. I do have a Marwyn to extend by 1 if I need to, but the opponent opts not to heal here. And I'm like, okay, we're going to draw into Purgatory, and then Purgatory plus Sweetness of Veracity is just game. So we get a little lucky on the draw there, because even Silent Rider wouldn't do it because we couldn't Silent Rider and Veracity. So finally at the end of the game there, we get a little bit of luck and are now 1-1. Alright, so 1-1, did not feel good about that last game. Was pretty much, I felt behind the whole game. But now I queue into the 3rd Havencraft and I'm like, what is happening? Another Sapphire player on A rank or whatever, or A rank. Again, Blinding Faith not too good in this matchup. We're gonna put everything back and draw. We've got a bunch of high cost cards, but it's the engine cards, so we need to see these. We draw into an Unholy Vessel. I'm like, okay, kind of scary. Nothing for the first 3 turns. The opponent passes with nothing on turn 1, and I'm like, thank you. We draw Shining Disenchantment, and I'm like, this is one of the cards that, along with Unholy Vessel, you likely want to see late in the game, not right now. We draw into a Marwyn, and I'm like, dude, is the game just like screwing me on every match with this deck right now? It's absolutely crazy. Look at these draws, bro. The Blinding Faith, ironically enough, comes in a little bit of handy since the opponent is on some kind of, well, they're on Crest, but I think they may be on that new hybrid, like, Ward Crest deck, which has been having some success. I mean, there's a lot of different variations out there, but they do get their Marwyn online on turn 4 since they go 2nd, and we have to get it online later because we have to Congregant away this board and hope to draw into some playable crests like Devotees and Supplicants, and thankfully we do get a Devotee there. They respond with their own Congregant, and now they have 3 crests. I take 3 damage, go to 15, and they pass turn. So, you know, I've survived this long. Let's see how the back and forth goes in these mirror matches, because we are behind on life, and they have developed their crest early, and they have 1 extra crest than me. You know, we tie up the crests here. But I end up passing, leaving their Congregant up, and see what they want to respond with. Very awkward play by the opponent to go for Unholy Vessel right there. I would not agree with that. We, of course, we brick our Casitas. The one, like, this is the only matchup where you want to see Casitas, pretty much. And we brick it away, but I mean, it's fine. Like, you know, it won us the last match against the mirror, but you know, I mean, if they have it, we don't now, like, we'll probably lose the game if it goes to the grind game. But yeah, it is what it is. They Super Evo the Wilbert and crash in. They know I have a Torrent of Despair, so again, a very awkward play by the opponent, and we're going to be able to finally put those Shining Disenchantments to use to regain some health and deal damage to the opponent. And yeah, dishing out that Wilbert so we can get through our direct damage there with the crests, and the amulet is very, very strong. They're going to respond again with similar stuff. We're down to 12 each. Let's go ahead and speed this up because it is a lot of back and forth. Congregant is going to come in here since I have a second Congregant in hand, and I imagine that after I trigger this next Congregant, because I'm going to lose my Congregant crest next turn, so I'll trigger the refresh of the crest during my next turn here. So yeah, drop it here and go for the Super Evo. I won't have too much left to need the third Congregant to, and I'll probably burn my last Super Evo before that anyways if I kept the last Congregant to Evo. So yeah, we've got one Devotee crest left, but we do have Devotee in hand as well as Supplicant, so ready to redrop those when we need to refresh the crest, assuming we can, given the board state. The opponent burns their last Super Evo on the Salifa here, and we Unholy Vessel to clean it up. Having 3 in our hand, we are definitely going to be able to constantly clear boards. The only question is, can we survive? Yeah, they're definitely on like the Ward crest build with Soul Sister there, gaining health as well. Down comes Supplicant to refresh the crest. They're going to go for their own Torrent of Despair to clear it. And then, yeah, like this stuff is very underwhelming right now for the opponent. So we're going to be able to easily clean a lot of this up. We are on 6, so we're in a little bit of trouble here. We're going to be able to go back up to 10, go up to 14, putting the opponent to 5. And yeah, this is why this matchup can be scary. I don't think my opponent was on Guild Knees, but yeah, you can see here Odin, Twilight Fate here. Coming in, hitting me for 4. They've got the barrier up with the temple. So yeah, very interesting deck by the opponent, looking to surprise finish people off, I guess, because yeah, you definitely don't expect Odin in Crest, right? So we're going to develop 2 characters and pass back to the opponent while we're on 10. I don't think this opponent was on Benisons, honestly. They're going to go ahead and Blinding Faith draw 3, which is very strong, and I'm like, just as long as they don't have Casitas, I should be okay. We Blinding Faith as well, just to draw 3. And I guess heal 3 as well. But we're in a little bit of trouble here. If we would have had Casitas, we could have probably locked up this game earlier, but it is what it is. Their boards, though, while they are clearing mine and dealing the crest damage, their boards are still a little underwhelming, and they're relatively easy to clear. So I go for the Torrent of Despair for the simple fact that I'm out of crests, and I just want to extend the Supplicant crest by an extra turn. So we pop the dose and then let the 2 crests trigger the barrier and pass. We do have 2 Sweetness of Veracity in hand. The opponent once again draws 3, heals 3. Okay, and they are on Benison. They take the crest, put me to 5, and they're back up to 20. Looks like an impossible game now, right? We're going to be forced to take the Benison crest as well and develop the Unholy Vessel. We are on 16 now. They go for Lapis, and I'm like, oh, you just lose the game now because I'll be able to double Veracity, and then your Benison crest triggers next turn, and, well, I mean, I'll deal 2 damage to you as well with my crest, but then your Benison triggers, and you just lose the game. So huge miscalculation on the opponent's part. A couple of misplays, but you can see how bad my opening hand was, right? Not playing anything for the first, like, 4 turns of the game, basically, but was able to kind of claw that one back, probably due to the opponent's misplays, in my opinion. Alright, Runecraft. I don't know about you guys, and I'm sure it feels this way if you do play Rune, but like, sometimes when you play Rune, if you are the one playing Rune, it feels like, how do I not find declimbs? How do I not find like Kuon some games? Like, it's just crazy. But whenever you face against Rune, like in this case, somehow opponents have, or it feels like they have, every answer to your board while building up those demonic calls to 0 with the Kuon Enhance, with the Casitas, and of course declimbs if not 2. Salty take, maybe. Bias take, probably. Skill issue, most likely. But yeah, I don't know. This run with this version of Cresthaven, I don't know if it's time to retire this variation because as you can see throughout this run, it has been a struggle. Now this opening is actually pretty good for us here, right? But the thing about facing Rune is it doesn't matter how good of a curve you get, and this is why people don't like Rune sometimes. It's like you can get the perfect curve. If Rune has the answers, if they have their Anangreas, if they have the Onion Engine set up, if they have their board clears, right, their Normans and their Kuons, if they see the cards that basically are the legendary cards, and they have the decline, you're gonna lose the game anyways. Like, unless you can end the game fast enough where you can push through that disruption and the healing, right, because the deck can heal quite a bit as well, then it's just like it's a non-game, right? And so the opponent's down to 27 cards in their deck, so they haven't drawn through too much. But yeah, I hit I don't hit the Norman on either of the torrents there, which is very bad, so I'm forced to burn my final Super Evo. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, like the fact that the opponent opts not to Super Evo here and waste a Demonic Call, meaning they're not going for the Kuan 10 enhance, tells me they already have Casitas in hand because they're saving their final Evo point for the declimb into 10 cost spell. So I already know, like, I'm going to get screwed. The Onion Engine here, pretty good. They don't even, yeah, they don't waste their Super Evo. They just get 2 free spell boosts. We clear the board. We get them down to 8. We've got double Benison in hand, but yeah, as expected on turn 10, they've got Casitas into declimb. No 10 cost spell, but they do have Purgatory to clear board and the Servant in order to soak up the damage. I think we top decked that Vessel, which is like crazy. That's the first Vessel I think that we've seen. Yeah, only one Vessel. Vessel is the only saving grace we have here because it's going to allow us to clear those servants and high defense characters like Silent Riders and stuff, as well as clear the board for the crests. So the odds that we top deck into another Unholy Vessel pretty much slim to nil. We only have 22 cards left in the deck and 2 remaining in there. So yeah, down comes Silent Rider, down comes another Servant, hits 10 to face, and of course I'm always still susceptible to 10 cost spell. So we go for the Wilbert here, which again is questionable. You could argue I should have gone for Devotee, just put up as much defense as possible. So that was a misplay that lost me this game. I was probably losing anyways, to be honest, right? There was like no real comeback. But yeah, they go Purgatory, and they took a while to think about this, and I'm like, oh, you didn't see the line for a while, but yeah, Silent Rider clear the Wilbert, Purgatory clear the 2 bodies that Wilbert generates, and then Servant Super Evo hit for game, which is 16 damage, and we're now 2-2. Oh boy, not a fun run. It was feeling miserable. What's funny is, given how my run went yesterday, and here you can see we faced a Topaz player after facing, you know, pretty much, what was it, Grandmaster, Diamond, Sapphire players before. But regardless, I was like, after the game really just kind of screws you a little bit, they do seem to give you like a really good match. Here, doesn't start off great. No Marwyn. We've got Ruler in our opening hand, which is not the card at all you want to see against Sword. So doesn't feel great, but we do have a decent curve out still, and we have Salifa to answer a Zirconia. We do see the Blinding Fate there, which is also pretty nice, because if they did have Zirconia, we could mitigate the extra boost they would have had on those other 2 characters if we didn't have the Blinding Fate. So yeah, we get Congregant online, and we got to fish for the Marwyn now, and I'm like, just please don't be another game where I just don't see Marwyn until like turn 10, right? We're going to go ahead, trigger the dose in order to take out the Zirconia, and we do see the Marwyn here, which is really nice. They go for Valse and then hits my character, and I go for the Marwyn, of course. I go for Torrent, and I finally get some good luck. The Torrent hitting the Valse there was best case scenario. 33% chance, it works out, and we're able to crest clear the other 2 characters. Down comes the Geno. So this opponent's deck, not optimized for mid-range Sword now in heirs of the Omen metagame, in my opinion. So I kind of, not that it's like a free match or anything, you still have to win and see your cards and play them correctly, but I know I don't have to probably worry too much about like insane plays. Like the thing about Sword is you always have to worry about Albert dealing 12 damage, but you need to keep track of the Super Evos and force your opponent to answer your boards to make it awkward for them to play what they want to play. You need to be the one in the Sword matchup to dictate the pace of play and force the answer so that they can't get an ideal setup with the cards that they want to use. So here we go ahead and let the crests and the amulets do the work to clean up the board a little bit. They go for the dogs, you know, a great card last set. I've cut it in my build of mid-range Sword for Heirs of the Omen. It's just a card that doesn't do enough, especially with Crest Haven. That 2 stat line is just not going to cut it here. So we go for Wilbert's Super Evo and Torrent of Despair just to increase the crest counts, clean up the board again. And at this point, I'm just playing a resource game, right? I'm just playing for, let me use up all of your resources, and the crests will come to finish you off because I've got the card advantage in enrolling. You're down to 3 cards. They don't deal with the Super Evo Wilbert, so the Unholy Vessel is able to clear their Luminous Mages, It does not take out the Wilbert since it's super evoed. It doesn't get destroyed on my turn. And now we've got double ward on the board. I checked this when they played it, they were 1 off. So, I mean, you don't want to play the Vaults first, obviously, because then you don't have enough to play the Gildaria. But maybe, I mean, I don't know, I guess you can't really afford to keep the Gildaria. It's weird. The other 2 cards in their hand must be very expensive to not play those instead. We draw into an Unholy Vessel, and attacking here is technically a mistake because, yeah, I'd rather get the ward on this, and I would have dealt 4 anyway, so, yeah, if you wanted the ward, obviously, do not attack. And sure enough, they do have expensive cards in their hand. They have Centaur, which hits me for 7. We play the Supplicant to max out our Crest, then play the Benison to go right back up to 20, nullifying the damage from the Centaur there. And yeah, we have an insane curve out. And then yeah, the other card they probably had was an Amalia, which is an 8 cost. Seeing that I used an Unholy Vessel, looks like they can deploy this safely, but they spend all of their nights dealing with the board, and all they have left is an Amalia here. So I end up torrenting, again, to increase the crest count, just drop Wilbert and let the crests do the work, get them down to 3. And again, we're feeling pretty comfortable. Down comes Amelia, goes back up to 7 play points. Samurai comes through. They don't opt to Super Evo the Amelia here. Down comes Luminous Magus, and I'm like, okay, they might opt to Super Evo here and give Barrier, which is pretty good. I do have the Salifa and 1 more Super Evo left, though, so I could... And the Grimnir Crest will trigger on the Super Evo, but I don't even need to because I top deck into Unholy Vessels. So this last match, the game literally gave me the win on the draws that I picked up there, obviously. We Super Evo the Knight so it doesn't get destroyed by the Vessel, and then the Super Evo 5 damage is enough to take that game. And for game number 5, after a stressful run, we're able to take the win and qualify. I didn't play stage 1 on this account, I don't think, but, you know, just qualifying for Group B, just getting extra points, why not, with an outdated version of Crest Haven.